My name is Camille Rhodes, and I'm 31. The text came while I was reviewing inventory numbers for a Monday meeting. I think maybe we need to break up. I stared at it for one long inhale, tasting the metallic chill that rides in with any brand new weather front. Then I exhaled, typed with both thumbs, and didn't let my pulse ask for permission. I agree. Your things will be on the porch in an hour. The bubbles on his end appeared, disappeared, appeared. Somewhere between the little gray ovals, a piece of me that still believed in second chances did its last quiet duty and turned off the lights. Wait, what? I was joking. I set the phone, face down, on the counter, turned a spare wine glass in a dish towel, until the rim sang a thin, crystalline note. My kitchen held its breath like it always did before a storm. In my mind, I snapped a contractor's chalk line, blue dust lifting, floating, settling into a future I could actually build. That line was where I stood. He had done this before. Pull the fire alarm after a minor inconvenience, then grin at the spectacle of me racing down the stairs with wet hair and bare feet. Every few weeks there was a test, a loyalty exam he wrote in invisible ink, and then scolded me for not reading. Tonight he just sent the answer key straight to my phone. I went to work, not the work on my laptop, the other kind, the kind that requires a cardboard box and the decision to be done. Bathroom first. His beard trimmer with the clogged head he swore he'd clean tomorrow. 3 different hair clays calibrated to smells I never learned to love. Aftershave he spritzed on like a signature. The medicine cabinet blinked back at me, suddenly orderly. Bedroom. His stack of house hoodies that had colonized my chair. The hoodie population had quadrupled last winter like a species introduced without a natural predator. The on the way to the gym t-shirts he wore to the couch. The lucky cap that wasn't lucky. Drawer by drawer, I reversed the quiet creep of a man who hadn't officially moved in, except somehow his gravity had. The decor changed as I moved, a slow exorcism. The framed photo from his cousin's wedding, where I looked tense, and he looked like someone telling a joke he didn't have to finish. The fake plant, he said, made the room pop. The sandpaper throw, he insisted, pulled the palette together. I felt a little lighter each time space reappeared where his taste had flattened mine. Kitchen. Specialty coffee pods and flavors he bought for Instagram and never for mornings. Craft beers lined like trophies along the back of the fridge, all label, no story. The juicer he needed, used twice, then resented for being real. The air fryer that stole a square foot of counter space, and then the plot of my weekend. Game shelf, 2 controllers, 1 sticky, headset that shouted through closed doors. Console I bought, streaming accounts I paid for, passwords he changed to organize things. I put his controllers and the headset in a box and left the console. Order restored in a small republic. Hall closet, sneakers arranged like quarrels, an umbrella that never once saw rain. 2 jackets from the same brand, the same cut, different grays. I packed until the house regained its native silence, an acoustic I recognized from before. 45 minutes. 6 boxes and 3 garbage bags. Neat, labeled, forgiving. I texted him 1 photo from the porch, the edge of the welcome mat in frame. Everything's outside. Please collect within 2 hours, or I'll donate. He called, the screen lit with his name, Noah, and I watched it go dark. The second call I let ring, the third I silenced. By the 7th, I turned on Do Not Disturb and placed the phone camera down on the table the way you lay a closed book. Through the doorbell camera, I saw headlights splash the front steps like a wave. His car hiccuped to a stop. He was out before the engine decided the matter. The front light caught his face in pieces, first the mouth, open, then the eyes, wild, finally the phone held up like a warrant. Open the door, Cam, this is insane. The intercom made my voice sound colder than I felt. Your stuff is on the porch. Please take it and go. He set both hands on his hips and stared past the camera as if he could stare at me harder that way. You're overreacting. I was joking. You're supposed to fight for us. There it was, the study guide underlined in purple. I pressed the talk button. I don't do exams I never agreed to take. He grabbed the top box, bathroom, and threw it. It burst open at the foot of the steps in an ugly fireworks display of plastic and aftershave. That's mature, I said into the mic, and immediately hated the line for sounding like a middle school teacher. He sat on the top step, breathing like a runner who knows the finish line moved. He dialed. Speakerphone, because of course. The voice on the other end was a woman's, older, worried, trying to sound like she wasn't. "Noah, what's happening? It's late." "Mom," he said, and I felt something in me unclench at the word. She threw me out over a text. "What did the text say?" her voice asked. "Careful." He clipped the sentence like a wire. "I maybe suggested we should break up, but I was joking. It was a test, to see if she'd fight for me." Even through a speaker filtered by weather and porch light, I heard it. The pause of a woman who's learned what not to make excuses for. "Noah," she said, and the syllables did not arrive to rescue him. "You don't test people you love by threatening to leave them." He stood up fast, like the step had gone hot. "Mom, you're not helping." She sighed. "Come home. We'll talk. Now." He stared into the camera again, and this time I let him see my reflection in the glass, the silhouette of me in the entryway, hand on the deadbolt like a priestess at a small, private altar. He wanted a fight because a fight would mean there was still something to wrestle for. I gave him kindness instead, because kindness was the one thing that shut the theater down. "There's a blue bin for the broken bathroom things," I said. "Please don't leave a mess on the steps. The HOA will fine me, and I won't pay your fee." His mouth twitched. The anger he understood. The admin voice he did not. He gathered the bigger pieces, stuffed them into a bag, then stacked the intact boxes in his arms. He looked smaller carrying his own life out of mine. He made it to the bottom of the steps, stopped, turned his face up. "I was testing whether you still cared enough to fight." "I do care," I said, and I let the truth sit there plain. I care enough not to live inside a pop quiz. He left. The night closed its mouth. I swept up the aftershave crystals and tiny bits of beige plastic that used to be a comb attachment and thought, not for the first time, how quiet peace can be when it finally shows up. Inside, my phone had become a planet of missed calls, spinning its own weather. Voicemails bloomed like an invasive species. I did not listen. I turned on the kettle instead, watched the coil redden, waited for water to confess its intention. When I finally lay down, the house felt correctly sized to me. No half-open drawers, no hoodies pretending to be blankets. I slept like a person whose emergency exit map was clear. In the gray of morning, my doorbell chimed again. A courier set a slim envelope on the mat and took a picture. No return address. Inside, a single handwritten note on lined paper. "Don't do this. You're making a mistake. We're perfect when we're not fighting. Talk to me." 7 p.m. At our spot? Our spot was a bar he liked because the lighting made him handsomer and the music made talking impossible. I folded the note back into its envelope and slid it into a drawer with instruction manuals and warranties, the paper neighborhood where things go when they might matter later. I took a shower. Steam erased the porch from my skin. Dressed. Made coffee the way I liked it, not the way his machine demanded. At 8:12 a.m., my phone buzzed with a new number. "Camille, hi, this is Diane. No judgment, but I'm Noah's mom." I closed my eyes, pinched the bridge of my nose, and told my voice to remember what Grace sounded like. "Good morning, Diane." "I just wanted to say," she cleared her throat, "I heard what he said last night about testing you. I didn't raise him for that. I'm sorry." "It's kind of you to call," I said. "I meant it. People are more than their children and less than their children, all at once." "He's struggling," she said, "but that doesn't excuse it. If he reaches out again, and you need me to intervene, I will. He's coming home for a bit." "Thank you," I said. "I hope he uses the time well." We hung up. I stood at the window with my mug and thought about how apology can be a quilt you don't deserve but take anyway, because it's cold. By lunch, the stories started. Mutual friends pinged me with screenshots. A crying selfie captioned with a vague grievance about people who throw away 2 years over a misunderstanding. In the comments, the familiar chorus took its seats. But then, quietly, almost politely, someone asked, "Didn't you tell her you wanted to break up?" The post disappeared an hour later. The kettle hummed again. By late afternoon, my doorbell camera recorded a small flock of sparrows testing the physics of my porch light. They understood what he did not. You don't learn much from flying into the same glow twice. When evening fell, I set the envelope back in its drawer and clicked it shut. There would be more weather. I could feel the pressure. The air knew. But tonight was clear. I locked the door, turned off the porch light, and let the chalk line hold. The first ping came at 2:07 a.m., a text from Noah that opened like a trapdoor. "We need to talk. I'm late." "Late for what?" I typed, already hearing the script he wanted me to read. My period. I might be. He let the word hang like a chandelier he expected me to install. Pregnant. The ceiling of my dark bedroom offered the same expression I did. Blank. You've been on birth control for years, I wrote. Also, we haven't been intimate in 3 weeks? Because I'm emotionally unavailable, remember? Birth control fails, he fired back. You're going to make me do this alone? Take a test, I wrote. If it's positive, we'll handle it through lawyers. If not, please stop. The typing bubble appeared, stalled, vanished. My phone went silent. I slept as if someone had finally stopped knocking on a door far away. Morning brought sunlight and the sour aftertaste of performative crises. Coffee, a shower, emails. Then a friend DM'd me a screenshot. Noah, puffy-eyed, posted a close-up tear with the caption, "When people throw you out over a misunderstanding after you gave them your whole heart." The comments chorused, "You deserve better, King. She'll regret it. Men are allowed to cry." A few mutuals nudged the truth. "Didn't you text that you wanted to break up?" Post gone within the hour. By lunch, he tried possessions. "You kept my grandmother's ring," he texted. "It's priceless." I stared at the message like it had introduced itself as a giraffe. "You never brought a ring here." Everything on the porch was filmed by the doorbell. "Please stop inventing items," he revised. The laptop charger, my navy hoodie with the yellow drawstrings, the one that smelled like his cologne. Charger was mine. Hoodie had departed with him, a ghost I did not exorcise twice. Afternoon, he upgraded to theater. My work cell rang with a private number. A woman's voice announced herself as a nurse from a clinic with urgent test results for me. The office routed her to my line. I waited for the script to rip. It did. "Camille, it's me. Please talk to me. This is insane." "Impersonating medical staff is illegal," I said calmly. "Next contact goes through lawyers." "You can't threaten me. I know your secrets." "What secrets, Noah? That I watch bread baking videos and run in the mornings?" "Spare me." I ended the call, logged the time, emailed HR. The receptionist, who had transferred the call, sent me a sorry gif with a crying cartoon teacup. Humor softened the ridge I carried under my ribs. Day 2 was the gym. I'd just racked a barbell when I saw him at the front desk gesturing toward me with the frantic politeness of someone trying to steal a car without setting off the alarm. The attendant approached, kind and cautious. "Hey, this gentleman says he's your boyfriend and lost his key card?" "Ex-boyfriend," I said. "We broke up 5 days ago. He's not authorized." The attendant nodded, eyes already apologizing to me for the noise. Security escorted Noah to the door, where he draped himself in the posture of a man denied his own reflection. "You're ruining my fitness journey," he said to the glass. He hadn't been to a gym in 2 years, unless you count the store where they sell expensive joggers. That afternoon, my phone lit with a new name, Brandon. He was Noah's friend and sometimes wingman, the sort of guy who laughed big and apologized big and believed loyalty was a universal solvent. "Cam, you need to take him back," he said as greeting. "He's sleeping on my couch and crying constantly. It's been 5 days." "I'm sorry you're in it," I said, "but I won't undo a boundary to make your living room quieter." "He made a mistake," Brandon said. "Everyone tests relationships. Healthy people don't." My voice was gentler than the sentence. "He's threatening to do something dramatic," Brandon added, desperate. "Like what?" "He bought a plane ticket to see Melanie, the ex. He's talking about closure." "Cool," I said, the word a flat stone across a deep lake. "I hope it's closure for both of them." "You're heartless," Brandon muttered, stung. "I'm single by his choice," I said, and hung up before I started mothering a man I did not raise. I blocked Noah's number across everything I could touch. Phone, text, email, socials. Peace fell like snow, soft, layer by layer, muffling everything previously loud. The silence had a temperature. 2 days later, a cousin of his sent me a message from an account I didn't follow. "For your sanity, he isn't in another state. He's at Aunt Jean's, posting old pics like postcards. We're tired too." I thanked her, then put the phone down. New information sometimes deserves nothing. When people can't reach you directly, they try the places they think you can't leave. He started arriving at every mutual event, the bar trivia night, the Saturday beach volleyball, the birthday dinner he wasn't invited to, announcing surprise each time with the sincerity of a toddler hiding behind a curtain with bare feet visible. Oh, Cam. Wow. What are the odds? The odds were 100%. The group chat had told him not to come. He hovered like humidity, telling familiar faces a story that grew more tragic with each retelling. Version 1. She threw me out over a joke. Version 5. I confessed feelings and she made me homeless. Version 10. She planned it. Probably another man. The only other man in my house was a plumber with a respectful invoice. People started leaving when he arrived, not loudly. They just drifted. Drama is heavy. Groups become wind. I didn't need to defend myself. Gravity did it for me. The sign showed up on day 7. Let's talk. Hand-lettered on a white poster board held in both hands as he sat in his car across from my office. Security noticed. HR called. Do you want us to call the police, they asked. Next time, I said. Next time was tomorrow. The sign had evolved. You can't ignore love. Police arrived. Warning issued. They were polite. He was injured in the way of people who mistake consequences for cruelty. I filed for a restraining order the following morning before work. The clerk at the courthouse moved with the quiet efficiency of someone who handled crises as paperwork all day. I brought screenshots, a printout of the doorbell footage stills, a log of calls, the gym incident report, the HR note. I didn't shake while I filled out forms. The body knows when the mind has stepped into a room with walls that hold. That afternoon, LinkedIn, of all places, waved from the corner of my screen. A message request from someone named Serena with a headshot bathed in diffused light and a bio about integrative life coaching, Reiki-adjacent realignment, and conflict closure. Hi, Camille. I'm working with someone from your past to clear negative energy blocks. Would you be open to a healing conversation about forgiveness? No, I typed. Closure is important for both parties, she replied, in under a minute, like a call script cue, for spiritual growth. I'm closed, spiritually and literally, I wrote. She tried once more. Forgiveness is for you, not them. And then the platform did me a favor and offered a big blue block button. I took it. 2 evenings later, a knock at my door. I checked the camera. A woman in a denim jacket, early 30s, pretty in the way kindness is, shifting her weight from foot to foot with the lightly frantic energy of a person tasked with something she already regretted. I opened the intercom. Can I help you? Are you Camille? She asked. I'm Tara. I'm seeing Noah. He asked me to talk to you. I looked at her face, the hope in it. I didn't invite her in. This isn't a conversation I have at my threshold, I said. If he told you I'm the villain, I'm not going to argue. But if you'd like to see the paperwork the court will read, I can hold it up to the glass. A pause, then, please. I pressed 3 pages against the window. The incident log, the screenshots, the doorbell still of him throwing a box. Her eyes moved. Something in her posture lowered, the part that had been holding up a story. He said you were stalking him, she murmured. Run, I thought, and said only, you don't owe him a chapter in a story he refuses to read. She swallowed. Thank you, she said softly. I'm sorry he dragged you into it, I replied. She left without knocking on any more doors. Noah called me within 10 minutes. A blocked number revealed itself by tone alone. You poisoned her against me. I ended the call before anger could make a home in me. Anger is a tenant that scuffs floors and steals spoons. The court date came fast. Paper has a way of moving faster than people when people won't. The judge read, asked crisp questions, glanced at the doorbell still of the box midair like it had its own testimony. Ma'am, you texted her that you wanted to break up, she said to Noah, tone even. She accepted. Everything after is harassment. Order granted. We weren't done. He never is. But the weather changed. On my walk home that night, the air had that hollow, clean note rain leaves in its absence, something like mercy and something like a warning. I unlocked my door, turned off the porch light, and set the restraining order in the drawer with the envelope from the first morning. Paper friends keeping watch. I roasted vegetables. I watered the plant that actually did make the room pop. The house breathed with me. Somewhere in town, a man who loved tests was learning what happened when the questions stopped making sense. 6 weeks passed before I heard his name again. Peace, it turns out, doesn't announce itself. It just arrives one morning when you realize the coffee tastes the way it should, and no part of you flinches at a buzz from your phone. I had started running longer routes, eating dinner without a screen, and filling the quiet with music that didn't ask me to remember anyone. The restraining order felt like a steel door in my mind, heavy, protective, and final. Then, one Thursday afternoon, HR forwarded me an email. Subject line, employment application, Noah L. He had applied to my company, same building, different department. The HR director called me in immediately. We flagged it as soon as his name came up, she said. Given the order on file, we'll reject it and document the attempt. You're safe. Safe. It was strange how the word made my hands tremble anyway. Later that week, his mother called again. Camille, she said quietly, I wanted you to hear from me before you saw it online. He's not well. Therapy's court mandated now. He lost his job, his apartment. He's staying with us. I listened, not sure whether pity or exhaustion would win. I hope he gets the help he needs, I said, and meant it. Her voice broke a little. He knows he broke something that doesn't get fixed with sorry. You didn't deserve any of it. Thank you, I said, but you don't need to carry his apology. That weekend at the grocery store, I ran into her in the produce aisle. She looked older, gentler somehow. We both reached for the same pack of strawberries. She let go first. He's working on himself, she said. He knows the tests were wrong. I smiled, soft but distant. That's good. I hope he passes the right ones this time. She nodded. You're a good woman, Camille. He had a good thing. Had, I said quietly. Take care, Diane. When I got home, I left the strawberries on the counter, washed the dust off the window glass, and noticed how much light had started finding its way back into my house. The restraining order expired 6 months later. It didn't need renewal. He never came back. The last time his name appeared on my phone was in a LinkedIn notification. Noah viewed your profile. No message, no connection request. Just curiosity peeking through a digital keyhole. I didn't block it. Some ghosts are more effective when they can see how alive you are. I started dating again. Slowly, carefully. A man named Daniel from my running club asked if I wanted to join a relay race. He didn't ask for my past, and I didn't offer it. I learned that peace doesn't mean forgetting. It means no longer rehearsing the fear. One night, while cleaning out drawers, I found the envelope, the first note he'd left on my porch. The handwriting looked smaller than I remembered, the words almost apologetic now. I could have burned it, but instead I folded it neatly and dropped it in the blue recycling bin outside. Paper belongs where it can be remade into something useful. I poured myself a glass of wine, the one I liked best, not the one he said photographed better. Then I sat by the window, legs curled under me, and let the quiet fill every corner of the room like a tide coming home. When people threaten to leave as a test, let them. If they truly wanted to stay, they wouldn't make love an exam. And if it's a test, it's already failed. The house hummed with its own kind of applause, low, content, final.